Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Los Alamos. I think I'll take my mask off. I'm Rebecca Howard, and I am a worship associate for this congregation. Our minister, the Reverend John Cullinan, has today off, but he will be with us virtually this morning through the magic of technology. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome to this place of memory and hope where we share our joys and our struggles in our quest for what is good and true. As Unitarian Universalists, we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person and the interdependence of all life. We come together to learn from each other, and we draw inspiration from many sources to work together to build communities of greater justice and compassion. If you're joining us for the first time, we invite you to talk to any of us after the service. If you're watching remotely, I believe we have a remote guest book, a virtual guest book that you can sign. Unfortunately, we don't have a coffee hour today, but I at least will be around for a while afterwards if you have questions. And again, welcome to all of you. We're glad you're with us this morning. And because most of this service is pre-recorded, we can't project the words to the hymns, but I invite you to stand in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 40. So I invite you to stand and join in repeating our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. Seek knowledge and freedom, to serve life in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. Thus do we covenant with each and with all. You may be seated, and now I will light the chalice. We light this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention. No words have been written in our virtual prayer book today, but let us take a moment now to call to our minds all the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts, whether spoken aloud or held quietly and tenderly within. I invite you to join me in a time of prayer, meditation, and reflection, to be fully present here and now in this sacred time and space, with ourselves, with each other, and that which is larger than ourselves. These are the words of John Saxon. Source of all life, all love, all hope, known by many names and in many ways. We don't know who or what you are, or even whether you can be called a who or what. Our words fail us. Our minds fail us when we ponder the enormity, diversity, complexity, and beauty of the universe and this world. And yet we sense more than know that our lives are part of a larger life, that we are indeed connected with everyone and everything in one interdependent web of being, and that there is something both eminent and transcendent that nurtures and sustains our lives and life itself, something that calls us and all life to greater wholeness and harmony. We give thanks for this morning, for all of the gifts and blessings of life, for this day, for the beauty and wonder and mysteries of life, for our families and friends, for health and work, for opportunities to learn and love and grow, for the love and support of others in times of illness or despair. But we remember, too, that others here in this room, in this city, and around the world live in poverty, hunger, fear, illness, isolation, violence, and economic insecurity. In the silence of this room and in the silence of our hearts, may we hear the call to a wider perspective and a deeper resolve. May we live with greater compassion and care for ourselves, others, and creation. May we touch each other more deeply, hear each other more clearly, and see each other's joys and sorrows as our own. May we strive to become more than we are, more loving, more forgiving, more kind, more honest, more open, more connected, more whole. May we heal and be healed. May we face the uncertainties and tragedies of life with hope, faith, and courage, knowing that life is good and that we are not alone. And in these moments of silence, may our hearts speak silently all the prayers of our lives, our soul's greatest joys and deepest sorrows, our triumphs and failures, our regrets and fears, our disappointments and losses, our hopes and dreams. May it be so. Amen. Virtually this week as well for our Time for All Ages.
So I have a question for you all today. Do any of you ever worry about things? Maybe you worry about a test you have to take, or maybe you worry about going to the dentist or the doctor, or maybe you worry about when you will get to go back to school and see your friends. Or maybe you worry about when you will get to see some of your family again. Or maybe you worry about a family member or a pet being sick. Or maybe you worry about COVID. Or maybe you worry about not doing something right. Or maybe you worry about doing something new, like riding a bike, or skiing, or sledding down a big hill. Sometimes we can get lost in all of our worries and fearful thoughts about the future. Sometimes for me, it seems like a swirling tornado of worries and fears in my brain. So, how do I calm my worries and fears down? Well, I'm going to try something, and you all can try it with me. So doing these very simple practices can help me, and it can help you pause the busyness of our brains. So you can do this with me today. You ready? So in all of the craziness that sometimes swirls in our brain, these little practices are like hitting the pause button to help our brain tornadoes become more still. So this first practice is called the balloon. And it's good for adults too, so adults, you can join this practice. So think of your favorite color. Mine is green. And picture a giant balloon of that color in your mind. Now take a slow, deep inhale through your nose, filling up your tummy with air as if trying to blow up a giant balloon of your favorite color. You can also stretch your arms open and overhead like you're holding a big balloon. So let's try that again. Ready? Think of your balloon. Let's do an inhale. And then when your balloon is totally full, you can hold your breath at the top if you want. You can pop your balloon like that if you want. And exhale. So we'll try it one more time. Y'all ready? So get ready to inhale. And get ready to pop your balloon. Exhale. And doing that a few times can help our busy and tornado-filled brains pause. Kind of cool, right? Well, there's another practice that I like to do when I need to kind of pause, and it's called the finger trace. So you can hold out your hand like this. You can take your other finger. You can trace your fingers like this. Kind of feels kind of cool, right? And then you can go back. And you just keep on tracing your fingers and focus on that. And that could help pause our busy minds. And one more thing you can do when you need to pause your mind and the tornado in your brain is you can ring a bell or a singing bowl like we do in our church. We ring the gong in our worship services so that we can pause in silence and stillness for a moment like this. So next time your brain is swirling with a worry tornado or busyness, remember some of these practices that can help calm your mind to bring you back to this moment right now. Bye.
I need to confess to you this morning that I am a slave to my to-do list. I get easily distracted. It's hard for me to stay on task sometimes, so I need those bullet-pointed, written-down lists to remind me what it is that I need to do. And the holiday season just makes the need for those to-do lists even greater. My list becomes a spreadsheet separated by columns of various tasks, both at church and at home, and in preparation for the holidays, and all of the little subtasks in each cell. And over time, through October and November and into December, that spreadsheet grows and grows until I start to feel oppressed by it, and I have titled it in my Google Drive, The Spreadsheet of Doom. I think you can tell how I feel about this just by the language alone. The spreadsheet imposes itself on me. Do, produce, achieve. Now, in and of itself, a to-do list is not a bad thing. And when I stick to one, the nice thing is that I remember to do things. But when I get carried away with the lists, when they sprawl into spreadsheets that go into columns beyond the width of my computer screen, the problem is I start to forget who I am in the process of doing things. My soul becomes disquieted. I lose my sense of inner peace. I lose my sense of the wholeness of myself and the wholeness of myself in balance with creation. Everything in my spirit just gets off kilter. There's a great old chestnut of a bumper sticker that reads, "Remember, you are a human being, not a human doing." Cute, right? And maybe a little oversimplified, but I'm a fan of bumper sticker theology occasionally, and this in particular is a little nugget of truth that is easily lost in the rush of our everydays. The demands of this world on us far too often turn us into machines, programming us with repetitive tasks and repetitive actions. The world gets us running routine after subroutine until our internal processors overfunction and overclock and overheat to the point where finally we feel like we are separated from our real purpose in life, which is simply this: to become more fully, more wholly ourselves, and in the process to draw others into their own wholeness too. So how do we fix this? How do we get to start over? Have you tried turning yourself off and on again? Heaven knows we could all use a reboot from time to time. Now, despite my modern metaphors here, this overworking, this overtasking, this human doing instead of human being, this is an ancient human problem. We have been doing this for millennia. We have always been susceptible to the loud demands of the rat race. In the Psalms, in the Hebrew scripture, the author watches their fellow human beings running around their lives in endless routines, doing task after task, and ultimately trying to get control of things that they simply cannot control. In Psalm 46, the psalmist hears the voice of their Creator in the midst of all this saying, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still. What is this stillness? What are we being asked to do? Stop moving? Maybe, but not necessarily. Be absolutely silent? Maybe, but not necessarily. The Hebrew word the psalmist uses for still is rapa, which means literally to cease acting on one level, to stop doing what you're doing for a minute. But it also means, more directly and to the point and at a deeper level, surrender. Well, that's a little bit of a daunting word. Surrender? That seems extreme, nihilistic. But God is not asking his people to quit in the psalm. This is not a quitting surrender, not a giving up, but a giving over of tasks that were never really yours to begin with. To recast the phrase in a modern notion, the divine is saying to humanity, hey, take a break already. I got this part. The world will continue to turn on its axis. It doesn't need you to do the pedaling. Almost literally, God is saying to his people, you are a human being, not a human doing. Remember. Remember who you are. And remember who you are meant to be in relation to all that is. In the face of all the world demands, we need to stop and reboot. And we need to do that more often than we might usually do in our everyday lives. This stillness we are being called to, this surrender, might be the cessation of our motion, or it might not be. But it certainly is a pause in acting on external demands of us in our lives. This stillness, this surrender we are being called to might be our own silence, or it might not be, but it certainly is an insistence on our part on the silence of the external voices making those demands. An insistence on that silence of the external. Also, we can have the time and the space and the presence of mind to hear the still small voice that is greater than any of our own. Our relation to all that is. Now, this stillness is a discipline. It is hard work. I struggle with it constantly. Today is again one of those sermons that is as much for my own benefit as it is for yours. I am preaching what I need to hear this week. It is a struggle. And I'm not alone in that struggle. Michael Hyatt, who is a nationally recognized leadership coach as well as an ordained Orthodox deacon, he talks about his struggle too, but he also writes about why even in that struggle, the discipline of stillness is worthwhile for him. He gives several reasons for why he keeps working through the struggle, and two stand out for me. First, he writes, I want to maintain perspective. If I don't make time to be still, he writes, then I find myself in reactive mode, influenced by hundreds of little voices with big demands. And second, I want to stay connected to my true self. I don't want to get confused, thinking that I am the image I present to the world. They are related, of course, but I want to live from the inside out. I want to live from the inside out. And that is certainly how I would like to live as well. Even just 10 minutes a day, heck, even just 5 minutes a day of some sort of intentional, quiet, solitary presence with our own selves gives us a chance for that stillness and that reboot we so desperately need. A chance to just be for a few minutes, to be with the wholeness of ourselves and remember who we are, to be with the sense of our whole selves in relationship to all that is, so we can remember what our real purpose is in this life. To just be without the demand to have to show anything for it at the end, other than some semblance of restored inner balance and inner peace. In this second week of Advent, we light a candle for peace. For external peace, to be sure, we need it so much. But let us not forget to focus on our own sense of inner peace as well. We have entered into a season of great demand. Buy the right gifts, make the holidays happy, get your taxes together, tie up all those loose ends for the year. But friends, we are also in a season of awaiting. The advent of the birth of Jesus. The anticipation of the solstice and the return of the light, the cusp of a new year and a chance for new beginnings. Where the world demands things of us, the infinite at the same time, in the same season, invites us to reconnect with our whole selves, to remember who we are. In the rush of everything that is December, may we find the courage to accept that invitation, the invitation to be still and know who we are as ourselves, as a people, as part of the infinite. May it be so.
As we prepare to return to our daily lives, I have just one announcement and an apology to the Rick and Mike in the booth for my doing things out of order. Apparently, they're fairly used to dealing with glitches. Our announcement is that, I think I have a slide for this. Oh, blank. Next Sunday, January 2nd, the sermon will be a recording again of Dr. Dale Arnick, was our UCLA minister emeritus. He passed away November 3rd. He was the minister here for more than 20 years, 24 years. So that will be the service next week. There it is. And it is time for our offering. Our offering is an opportunity to share some of what we have with the wider world. We're not passing the basket this morning, but there is an offering box in the back of the sanctuary by the door, or you can use the Givelify app or givelify.com. Our Share the Plate partner for this month is Self-Help Incorporated. Self-Help provides consultation and advocacy, emergency financial assistance, and seed money grants to residents of Los Alamos, Northern Santa Fe, Rio Arriba, and Taos counties. 100% of all offered this month will be given to our partner. May the offertory music give you a little time just to contemplate whatever you'd like to contemplate, and also to lift your spirits. And may what you give bring you joy. Our benediction are the words of Cynthia Landrum. We leave this gathered community, but we don't leave our connection, our concerns, or our care for each other, our service to each other, to the world, and our faith continues until we are together again, friends. Be strong, be well, be true, be loving. Go in peace. And I invite you to rise again, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing song, number 414. I'll wait till everybody gets. I don't know the melody to this, I only know the alto part. Thank you for coming. I don't think there's coffee. We didn't have anybody to make coffee, but the fans are on in the fellowship hall. If you all want to visit, feel free. I finally got over my jitters at the end here.